Good evening, everyone. My name is Francis Tarasiewicz, and I'm a meteorologist and weather observer coming to you live from the summit of Mount Washington. And we're going to talk all about the weekend forecast coming right up. But first, I have a few announcements to make. The first of which is, we're still talking about the snowcat tea, and the benefits of this is actually going towards our educational program, more specifically helping schools in the North Country actually afford field trips up here to the summit of Mount Washington, taking their education to new heights. And the snowcat t-shirt right here. Here's the front of it, and the back of it is a really cool picture of the summit proper with a snowcat coming up. Numerous colors. We've got at least 5 colors here: charcoal, navy, red, and green as well, and about 9 different styles or so, and not just the short sleeve that you see here. So a really good cause, and about 5 days left for our fundraiser here. You can go to mountwashington.org slash t-shirt there to find out more about that particular fundraiser, but really a cool thing to contribute to, and you look really cool as well with your snowcat t-shirt. Another thing I want to talk about now, shifting gears, for those of you who like comedy and live in the North Country here, we are actually doing a charity night for a 21 and over comedy night at the Sea Dog Brewery up here in Conway, New Hampshire. We've got a great lineup of comedians, and benefits from this will, indeed go to the observatory. Some of the proceeds. Tickets are $20, and again, we've got about 5 comedians there. That's pretty good. That's a full night of comedy for a pretty good price, and again, going to a good cause up here on the observatory. One final thing I want to talk about quickly is the Wicked STEM Expo. We've got a list of speakers here. The Wicked STEM Expo seeks to bring younger people into STEM, high school, middle school students, and the like. And it's going on this Saturday from about 10 to 6 p.m. down in Milford, New Hampshire at the Milford Sports Dome. I will be speaking from 2:30 to 3 p.m., and we also will have an exhibitor booth there. And I believe admission is free, so just to register. And we have plenty of opportunities to talk to folks in STEM fields in the state of New Hampshire, including myself. So it'll be a really cool day there down in Milford, New Hampshire, again at the Sports Dome. So with all those announcements aside, let's get back to what you all came here for, and that's, of course, the weather. We've had some interesting weather to talk about today on the summit. First, let's take a look at these winds. They've been from the east at around 20 miles per hour all day or so. Right now, they're a little bit lower, getting to around 19. And in terms of temperatures, we've been really consistently around the 45-degree mark there, and a little bit warmer down below, 65 degrees. We've had a thick layer of clouds overhead and around the summit as well. So definitely feeling more like a September day out there as we've gone through the day. Visibility, less than a 16th of a mile. We're fairly well socked in through the clouds here. And wind speeds, again, as I said, pretty consistent, only getting up to around 48 miles per hour around midnight or so this morning. They've been winding down a little bit. Lots to talk about as well going on in our observatory deck cam here. Let me get that link started up, and you can see, not a very exciting view here. We've got some folks trying to peek through the fog, and the fog has broken up occasionally. We've had some undercast at times. Really, the rule of today has just been a murky, sort of drizzly, showery day. Feeling a little sleepy, if I'm being honest, with all the sort of cool fall-like weather. We've got other things to talk about as well. So we're taking a look now at the national loop of water vapor imagery. And you'll notice quite a bit going on here in the New England area. We've got this broad spin, and that's that low pressure that's been pushing moisture in. Remember, I mentioned the flow is from the east today. So we've had all sorts of moisture channeling over the terrain, condensing into clouds, and occasionally producing drizzle and rain showers. We've got some relief from the cloudy weather. I don't know if you folks can see back there, but we've got a nice area of drier air to the north. Of course, the orange is indicating drier air, and these blues and whites indicating more in the way of moisture and cloud cover. This dry air is associated with the area of high pressure that's going to start to sag south. It's already sort of dropped a backdoor cold front through the North Country, which is an interesting type of cold front where you're moving from more of a northwesterly direction, or northeasterly direction to the southwest, I should say. So kind of an interesting phenomena going on throughout the day today. Looking at visible satellite, the same sort of time frame. This tells a much more interesting story here. You can see this area of low pressure spinning away just offshore. And really, if you're anywhere away from the coast, you really haven't even noticed the storm in terms of impacts outside of maybe cloud cover and a few sprinkles. But on the Cape, they've been being lashed with 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, actually similar, if not exceeding, the levels that we've seen up here on the summit of Mount Washington. So a really localized nor'easter going on right now. And it's not really going anywhere in a hurry. That's really the problem with the upcoming pattern for the weekend. But first, let's take a zoomed in view here of the last day or so of clouds over New England. Of course, Mount Washington is in this area. And so no surprise here, you can see that easterly flow reflected very well in the cloud cover here. Pretty much all day we've been socked in, and much taller clouds offshore. Those are the rain producers, and the rain has been heavy at times, especially across the Cape and the islands where they've received over 2 inches of rain so far from the storm, and it's far from over, at least for areas to the south. But for us on the summit, there is some hope on the horizon as things will start to clear and dry out, which I'll start to time out for you folks now, going ahead with the latest computer model run here, the North American Mesoscale model. So of course you can see these areas of greens, even some yellows and reds indicating areas of heavier rainfall. And let's move the clock forward here. And we'll start here this evening at the time of the broadcast. You see the broad swirl here. The low pressure is going to try to make a final stand, if you will, and move a little bit further to the north and west overnight, but it's also going to extend out an inverted trough. And so this could locally increase precipitation rates through New Hampshire, but that won't be long lasting at all through the overnight generally. And then we'll see that axis of precipitation kind of collapse southward going through the day tomorrow. And we'll see just some scattered drizzle and showers, possibly the first half of Saturday, but we should see things start to wind down Saturday and Saturday night. And then as we move the clock forward into the day on Sunday, a few widely scattered wraparound showers, but really not much. We'll have that push of drier air, as I mentioned, moving in from the northeast, really evaporating a lot of that rainfall. And as we go into the day on Sunday, it shouldn't be a half bad day. We'll finally see that low pressure really get squashed to the south. So even the Cape and the islands, you get a break from this as well. In terms of temperatures, we've got, of course, I mentioned the backdoor cold front that has moved through and will move through time. And temperatures will be a little bit an issue to talk about here. It'll be, of course, cooling as we go forward. So you can see some of these darker colors here indicating colder temperatures in the upper 30s or so, especially in the region, or the White Mountain region, I should say. This is going into Saturday afternoon now. Things will be cooling, but maybe warming just slightly by the afternoon. But by warm, I mean upper 30s, maybe 40 degrees. So not much of an improvement. And we'll get even cooler Saturday night again, a reinforcing area of cooler air with the northeasterly flow around that low pressure, keeping things, again, nice and cool up here on the higher terrain. We'll have a bit of a wind as well, so those combined will create some wind chill issues, which we'll talk about towards the end of the forecast today. Going forward in time here, Sunday, again, not much in the way of improvement. In fact, pretty steady temperatures going into Sunday. We'll wrap things up and talk a little bit about winds now. And so you can see really that area of low pressure and that belt of stronger winds confined to coastal New England, the Cape and the islands, even points of southeast of Connecticut and Rhode Island, as well as the Long Island. Really just a very localized event. Further north, we're more under the influence of high pressure. The winds are certainly lighter, which is the case here on the summit. We've definitely seen the winds come down as high pressure has started to really build in. And we'll see that continue to be the case overnight. Those winds will gradually slacken. Again, you can see that area of higher pressure and calmer winds coming just overhead of us overnight into Saturday morning. And yeah, we'll get a little bit of an increase in the pressure gradient going into the day Sunday, and that could boost winds a little bit. That's as high pressure really comes in earnest and creates a difference in high and low pressure and increases those wind speeds. So we'll time that out here. You can see these blues and greens coming back into the picture by Sunday morning, and especially by the afternoon Sunday, and perhaps calming down slightly by Sunday afternoon. But of course, the big news is the low pressure is finally pushing south. It's weakening, and high pressure, at least in the North Country here, northern New England, is going to start to win over, which is great news for the second half of Sunday. Not so much Saturday into Saturday night, but again, things could change. This storm's been fairly fickle in terms of forecasting it. So it's been an interesting 48 hours up here on the summit. But I want to break down now the daily forecast up here. Of course, you can always find our forecast at mountwashington.org/forecast. This is our higher summits forecast. It's updated twice daily, and it goes out about 48 hours or so. So for tonight, we'll start in the clouds, and we'll trend in and out of the clouds under partly cloudy skies. And we're maintaining that slight chance of drizzle or rain showers, mainly early. Again, that inverted trough is really going to make its presence known going into the early part of the evening and the overnight. Temperatures, however, fall back in the low upper 30s, I should say, and winds will be pretty busy. Northeast, 15 to 30 miles per hour. Maybe a brief lull around midnight or so, 5 to 20 miles per hour, and then ramping back up to 15 to 30 or so on the summits. And that will knock our wind chills down to between 20 and 30 above. So a pretty cold night, raw night up here. If you are hiking, definitely packed for fall and winter-like conditions up here in the higher terrain. For Saturday, it'll be mostly in the clear under mostly cloudy skies. We'll start to break down those showers as that push of dry air makes its way through. But we could see some drizzle very early in the morning. High temperatures will rise in the upper or the mid 40s, I should say. Winds will be from the east, again, that northeasterly direction, 15 to 30 miles per hour early, possibly light and variable at times by the midday hours, and then coming back up to 10 to 25 miles per hour a little later. And wind chill valleys will climb, but not a whole lot. It's still going to feel pretty raw up here, 20 to 30 above, and really only rising to 30 to 40 above by the afternoon. So pretty cold day if you're visiting, even if you're coming up on the Cog or the Auto Road, you want to dress with some layers coming up here to visit us up here on the summit. For Saturday night, we'll be in the clear under mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures will fall back in the mid 30s. Winds will be from the northeast, shifting easterly, again 10 to 25 miles per hour, increasing to 15 to 30 miles per hour as that pressure gradient starts to wind up a little bit. Temperatures will fall to 20 to 30, or wind chills, I should say, will fall to 20 to 30 above. So we got another cool night. And finally, for Sunday, some good news here in the clear under mostly cloudy skies. And the skies will become partly cloudy by the afternoon, with again a bit more dry air with that high pressure building in. And temperatures, they won't improve too much, but it'll be a little bit nicer, around 40 degrees or so. And winds will be from the east at 5 to 20 miles per hour, possibly light and variable at times in the morning. And they'll steadily climb to around 10 to 25 miles per hour by the afternoon. And wind chill values will rise between 25 and 35 above. And that's about it for the weekend forecast. I want to thank you all for clicking on this latest edition of the Higher Summits forecast. And of course, as I said a little bit earlier, you can find the forecast anytime on our website at mountwashington.org/forecast. And with that, I want to wish you all a happy, safe, and healthy weekend.